What is up, Paladins fans? What is up, Rainstorm, Rain Day Gaming supporters and fans? Welcome back to the channel, guys. First off, before we get into this, I just want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part of the channel. I'm building a very strong community here, back again with many different games and many different looks. And so you may have noticed some new content, but it doesn't mean we're not going to be focusing on Paladins and focusing on Smite as well. But obviously, I cast Paladins, so you can still expect great content here. So I wanted to give back, starting back out with the tier list. And now you guys may also be saying, but Rain Day, I swear you put out tier list top 5 videos already. Why would you do it again? We've already got the info. Well, there's something to that. So those top 5 videos take a lot of time to actually do. They're not easy. They require me to do a bunch of voices and edit and get a bunch of footage too. That's a half of the battle, and put it all together and create this list. So by the time I do that, sometimes things change. Sometimes patches happen. So these types of tier lists are things I think I can bring to the channel that will be really helpful for you who want to maybe get better at ranked, maybe know what gods you should be playing, and know what gods or champions, excuse me, I've been playing a lot of Smite. Know what champions you should be playing, know what champions you should be avoiding, and why. But in quick snippets that give you some good information, you can reference to people who ask you, hey, why are you playing this? Why are you not playing that? You can have something on record to talk about, to point them to, or you can also just be able to stay a little bit more up to date with the meta of each patch. So that's what this is about, just the meta of each patch. So I'm going to talk a little bit about where these champions go. Now, first, if you've never seen a tier list like this, I understand. Basically, SS is the top. For those unfamiliar with SS, it just means just think of it like Super Saiyan. Brother can't be stopped. Okay, he's Super Saiyan, right? D is like in school, a D. You did really bad and you're not passing this class, right? You're below a C, you're below average. So in most of the conversations, A is going to be a pretty good champion. A plus is going to be a very good champion. What a lot of people distinguish them as is you can pick this champion in pretty much any situation and be okay. S minus and S plus and SS, these champions tend to be champions that direct the game their way. If you pick this champion, then this happens. Let's talk about our first champion here that we're going to go into because he's pretty easy. Androxus. Androxus with his punch. Androxus has a ton of potential right now. Even though his punch has been nerfed, it still hits hard. Curse Cylinder is still, the verdict's out. I'm not sure that's exciting, but Godslayer has always been a very effective tool for Androxus. In my opinion, Androxus still has finishing potential. He's still got some of the best mobility in the game, and there's no way Androxus can be a bad pick as a flanker, although he doesn't fit in every composition and every map because this is a bit of a tankier meta. I think Androxus is still a very fine pick to play, and if you're talking about ranked games or casual games, Androxus is still going to be able to carry for you. So for me, I'm going to have Androxus at A+. I know some people are probably going to have him at A, maybe A-, but right now we're going to put Androxus at about A+, which is, actually I'm going to put him at A because you could pick him almost anywhere and he's still going to be able to do the thing. All right, now let's look at Ashe. Ashe got some big changes in 2.02. And she has gotten a lot better. In fact, Ashe is probably one of, if not the best tank in the game right now. And I'm not over exaggerating. I feel like Ashe is probably the best tank in the game because the way that her stun and the leap distance, there were 2 changes. She got this leap distance and increased velocity to be able to travel farther with her jump, which made her a little bit more lethal to players who were not in range before. So backline targets that are going to be, in danger if she shows up. But secondly, they took Rally here and took that stun and put it into her base kit. And now she can stun and set up so much potential for the team. Not only that, her shield build that she's been using for Fortress Breaker, where she resets her shield after hitting a kinetic burst, basically gives her this incredible window of such small downtime that she's very hard to stop. In my opinion, I think Ashe is going to be like an A+ to an S- kind of tank. I don't think she's going to be banned, but I think she's going to be the first pick tank that you have to grab if she's available. I don't think she's banned yet. I think there's still, well, she might actually be banned. I think she might be better than Khan. I'm going to put Ashe. I'm honestly going to put Ashe at S-. I'm going to put Ashe at S-. I think Ashe wins you games right now. So that is going to be our first S- character. I think Barik is a great frontline to talk about. Barik fans out there. Barik is a great front line. He's got the reset build for his rocket boots. Check that out. You get fail safe. You get your rocket boots cooldown. You get your shield going on. You get bowling ball 3 to 5. And you basically can just have a double rocket boots. That means it's very hard to kill you. With your shield, with your turrets healing you up, you put a little healing station in there. Barik is still a mess. He's got a great weapon. For me, Barik stays as a very strong front line. He's an A pick in my opinion. He is not something that's going to turn the tide of the game in your favor, but he is going to be successful, in my opinion, in being able to do his job as a front line, more so than I've given him credit for in the past. So Barik is a good pick. Bomb King. Bomb King, in my opinion, is A+. Bomb King is A+. I think Bomb King right now is in a very good spot. I think he got a couple of card changes that, yes, although took away some of his fun stuff, well, not fun stuff, but just his super tankiness where he could just have 70% crowd control reduction. He got ammo for it. The thing that I'm going to tell you guys is, in my opinion, ammo, when you have cards for ammo, they need to be for champions that are like Viktor or Tyra, where small damage per bullet. So you get 2 ammo, it's like, what, 200 extra damage in your clip? Bomb King with reinforced casing, I'm looking at my builds, gets 5 extra ammo. That's 3,600 damage added to his kit before he has to reload. That is insane. And a good player is going to be able to take advantage of this. Bomb King was already in this top tier territory. The only reason I think that it's going to, and he may even move up to S-, we'll see how it goes. I'll probably put out another tier list once we start seeing PML action next week. And of course, 2.03 changes start getting announced, but we'll probably talk about that. But right now I'm going to put him at A+. I think he is a top tier damage character, but I think this meta is going to be a little bit more run by some of the front lines. That's just what I'm seeing right now. Buck. I think Buck's pretty good. I actually am going to throw Buck at around a B. I think Buck is actually pretty good. I think Buck has a lot of potential. I think if you are a main Buck player, you're going to be able to succeed. People like Red Charlie, who, I only know him because when I'd show up in a game, he's always playing Buck and he always whoops my butt. So shout out to that. But people who know how to play Buck are really well. I'm especially watching out for ensnare builds. I think there's some insane potential. You can hit for 1260 on a headshot with an ensnare build, and it's a very low cooldown. I think Buck is a tanky character that's going to jump up into the meta. Right now, though, I'm going to put him at a safe B. I think he can climb, and this is somebody that I would look out to be for on the rise for sure. Cassie, in my opinion, she's just a strong A. I think Cassie is always going to be an A. She could even actually be an A+. I think she is going to fill that role of being an A+, and in fact, I will put Cassie up here because I think in terms of pick order and pick priority, Cassie's never going to be a bad pick. She has still a ton of damage. Exaction is good. Impulse is really good. I actually love the ammo back on Impulse. I think the card that got changed there was kinetic, so you don't have the anti-heal, but you have 5 more ammo. And for a character like Cassie, 680 per shot on that ammo, it's nearly 3,000 damage that she's getting back. It's almost exactly a little bit more than 3,000 damage she's getting back just for hitting her blast shot. So she could basically roll in, shoot 6 shots, hit her blast shot, get 5 more shots back, and keep on firing in the fight. She never has to reload during that entire engagement. And she's going to be very, very strong in 1v1s. I think she's going to be an A+ for me. Oh, the Captain Dredge. The Captain Dredge. Where would I put? I think Dredge right now is in a B state as well. I think Dredge is actually not bad, but he's not going to determine your game in a strange way. Like, I think that Buck and Dredge are in this territory of having the ability to take over a game if the player is phenomenal, especially in a casual game. Casual, this is not really gearing towards that. It's more towards what do you pick in ranked? What do you kind of prioritize? What is it maybe you're going to see in the pro league? I think Dredge has got some good stuff. I saw somebody playing Hurl the other day. I think Scuttle has fallen off a little bit. Thanks to the follow-up there, if you know what I mean. You saw what I was doing there. But no, honestly, I think Dredge is in a pretty decent spot as a character. He's still a little frustrating to play against, but I think he's going to be seeing as much play as we're going to see Buck in the upcoming fall season. But we'll see. We'll see. Drogoz. Oh, man. Drogoz. I'm going to put Drogoz here at an A-, and that is because he has lost the Fire Spit he's lost the Gracious Fire Spit anti-heal card, but he has gained something pretty nice in return. The only thing that's the issue is that, do you go into health for Drogoz? He's got to be in the situation of being a 24 health 100 champion, now 2200, but being able to put that into cards. Having great Fire Spit options, but having to put it into cards, more choices are having to be made with Drogoz. The Fire Spit does less damage now than it did. I think overall he's still an amazing champion. I think he's going to get picked very highly. I think people will prioritize Bomb King over Drogoz because Bomb King can play from the ground. He's not as vulnerable as in the sky. And I think that overall Drogoz is still a great champion, but he has lost a little bit of his luster. Don't get me wrong. If you are a great Drogoz player, pick this guy up. Wormjet's probably the most fun I'm having in this patch right now. But he falls a little bit underneath some of the other characters. Oh, people subscribing while I'm doing this. Nice. This is not live, by the way. I just have my subscriber thing on, by the way. So if anyone subscribes, like if you're watching now and I'm recording a video and you subscribe, there's a chance that you will be that guy in the middle of my screen. Or girl. I'm not being sexist. Okay, we still got a lot to go through. Evie. Evie, I'm going to put in a... Actually, I'm going to put Evie... Because this is online, I'm going to put Evie in the A- category, but I think if this was a LAN one, I would put her up in the S-, maybe A+. I think Evie is actually even more reliable than Androxus. I think she's definitely competitive against Bomb King and Cassie at the highest level, and we saw that with Random Noob and Envy. I don't need to prove it. He already proved it for you. Evie can dominate a game, but because it's online, there are some ping issues. There's always things that happen, so she's a little bit less reliable. She falls into that category of Drogoz, and honestly, she could go a little below Drogoz because Drogoz is a little easier to hit his damage. Like, let's just be honest. He's a little bit safer, a little easier to hit his damage from far away. Evie players have to be really good to get this ranking, but that's where she is as far as a good player in this meta. Oh, now my boy Fernando. Fernando. I believe Fernando is B. Fernando is a B tier right now, and I am super, super sad about it because Scorch was such a big deal. And playing Fernando now, you just look at his options and you look at Aegis and you're like, that's not great. You look at a lot of these different things and you're just saying, Scorch, I miss you. And the fact that Scorch kind of stayed a little bit the same shows you how important the initial damage on Scorch was. Not having that 585 up front, it means so much to Fernando because his pressure lacks then, and thus he doesn't have the same type of sustain tools as some of these other champions. He can't compete with Ashe's sustain. He can't compete with her ultimate. He can't compete with her range. And with the fireball now, meaning he can't even beat her offensively or match her, this is going to be very tough. I'm looking to Rubu to bring Fernando back up with some amazing plays, maybe some new builds, but right now, for those who just want to play Fernando again, he has fallen quite a bit from being comparable to Ashe. Furia. I think Furia is actually in a pretty good, decent spot. I'm going to put her in the A- category. I think Furia is actually a decent healer. And in fact, you know what? I'm going to put Furia... I'm going to put... no, she got some buffs. Fury's going in A-. Fury got a couple of buffs. She got the reduce from Kindle Soul. She got that, like, removed. So they actually nerfed it. They made it a second longer, and now they have made it a second shorter again for her main heal. One of the biggest issues she had, if you don't know, which dropped her off, she got about 3 nerfs in a row. And one of the biggest things that happened was she just was unable to heal multiple people at the same time. Solar Beam, probably the most OP SS tier healing skill in the game. But when she can't heal someone with a right click or the solar beam misses, it's just super hard to assess her value because it's like, well, if she does all the things, she's amazing. But if she doesn't, she's kind of average. So what do? We pick somebody else. I'm gonna save that for the character that's kind of busted, in my opinion. There's a couple of busted in here. You know I haven't gotten to him yet. You know I'm getting to him. Grohk. Okay. Grohk, in my opinion, is a decent character. But he's just unloved. He's an unloved character. And I know people are going to try to make him work. I know he is going to be, a character that people love. Always going to have a Grohk guy. There's always going to be that Grohk guy. You know what I mean? A Grohk girl. Somebody's going to play Grohk and never stop. That is always what Grohk brings. But in my opinion, he's a C tier. I think Grohk is a C tier healer. I know this is going to piss some people off, but I think he is situational. C tier, in my opinion, is that he is situational, and that means you have to have a certain composition for Grohk to work or a certain map. Grohk cannot heal you on every single map. He is not going to succeed the same way a Furia will succeed, or a Grover will succeed, or a Maldamba will succeed on many, many maps. Grohk is going to be a great map on Bright Marsh. Grohk can do very, very well. I actually like this brand new Siege map that's happening. That's actually a very fun map as well, but not geared towards Grohk the best, but he does well in that circle fight. He does really, really well. Overall, Jaguar Falls is a pretty decent map for Grohk, but when you look at these bigger spaced out maps, when you look at things like Serpent Beach, you look at some of these other aspects where the fighting can be so distant you can't see anyone or your line of sights are blocked, it can be very difficult for Grohk to stay up with some of the other healers. Now, speaking of the rule of Paladins, everyone know the rule of Paladins? Okay, repeat it after me. When you see Grover, you kill Grover. Okay, can I get the repeat? When you see Grover, you kill Grover. There is nobody that I am more pissed off in the healer category at than this man right here. But I also love it because he's a great healer. I am putting Grover in S-. I think Grover's that good. I think Grover is a top tier character that changes the dynamic of a game when he's there. And if you do not deal with him, he will win the game for his team. His healing has been expanded. His passive has been kind of expanded to be so much more wide-reaching. He can go Ferocity. He can go Rampant Blooming and just be ridiculous. He can go Ferocity and still have the damage and still get all the healing. His range is crazy. Unstoppable is one of the most crazy cards in the game. 30% damage reduction for 4 seconds on a 8-second cooldown, 10-second cooldown skill. I mean, it's like 50% of the time you are 30% damage reduced at base. Before you buy Haven, before you buy Blast Shields, before you do anything else. And he is doing all of this healing to his team in a clump. One of the hardest things in Paladins to deal with is essentially death balling or clumping, and Grover contributes to that better than anybody else. So Grover, an Ashe, or just another shield, another front line, it is one of the most impossible things to stop right now. And if you do not focus him, if you do not buy Cauterize, you will lose the game against Grovers. They're that good. The roots, very strong. The root and cripple. You've been hearing Vex talk about all these crippling the roots things. Grover's got some good ones. He's got a root or a cripple. He's got both. I think this is an extremely strong champion. I don't know if he needs nerfs, but I just know that this brother is bad right now. If you're a healer, play Grover. He is going to get you some wins. Imani. All right, it's time for Imani. I'm having fun. You guys having fun? If you are, let me know. Let me know what you think. Let me know how I can improve this. I actually just like sitting down and talking. I like the long form content. I've already been going for 16 minutes, but we're about halfway-ish, closing in on halfway-ish done. So it's definitely long form, but I think you guys are going to enjoy it, especially if you're Paladins fans. So that's my biggest thing. Imani. Imani is a really great release, man. One of the best releases I think Paladins has ever done. Maybe the best ever, in my opinion. And I'm not just like tooting Paladins' horn. I think Imani brings it all. And she was also insanely good. Her dragon is OP, but has been nerfed a little bit back into being there where it's counterable. But still, if it gets into the right spot, the dragon is going to dominate. It is going to dominate. She's got an amazing passive of, well, at least the ability to get that double stack shot, which is just such burst. She's got a root in her kit. She's got great damage, amazing mobility. And we're finding out with builds that increase your ability to fly faster, that increase your ability to get mana while you're flying. You can have that passive up, which gives you the double shot so quickly that her burst damage is almost always available. Aside from the dragon. So Imani as a character is just good, but her dragon as well, I think puts her in a S- category. I think that because they nerfed the dragon, she's not OP. She's not like, I need to be dealt with. I actually don't think anyone is in this category of being like, oh my God, you have to, you're so much better than everybody else. But I do think that if the dragon works, if she just doesn't get killed, or if you're in a bad spot, like, it's game over. You can't do anything. Like, bulldozer or not, you're not going to kill that dragon before it kills you. You know what I mean? And that is to me where Imani takes a step above a lot of the other damage champion and is a very good priority pick. I've also seen a lot of pro players like Rock Monkey, Random Noob, playing her. I mean, dude, if you have a guy like Rock Monkey who barely makes any mistakes on that character, scary. I'm scared. I am literally scared. Okay. And Inara. I think Inara's great. I think Inara's in a pretty good category. I'm going to put her in a A+ category. I think she's a great champion to have. I'm not putting her in S-. And I know this is weird because you're going to see Ashe up here. I think Ashe is just insanely strong with the pressure that she's able to provide. I know Inara is super tanky, and so there could be a debate as to whether she goes into S- or whether she goes into A+. But I'm tired of putting Inara at this, first pick. I hope that something changes. This is probably just me just hoping that Inara isn't, first pick every single game, but she probably will be. All right. Anyways, Jenos. I think Jenos is actually making a little bit of a comeback. I think the percentage health heal that got added into his kit, taken away from Celestial Touch, was really, really helpful for him. He brings great damage and he synergizes really well with some other champions. And so I'm gonna put Jenos in the same boat as Androxus and Barik here. I think Jenos is actually a very strong champion to add, and not for the fact that he's going to be a solo healer, but I think in the sustained meta, where we see a little bit more of longer fights, I think Jenos is going to be one of the keys to get some extra damage while still being a healer, while still helping people stay tanky, while still helping maybe the damage that you do have be amplified, because maybe you don't have 3 damage dealers this time. Maybe you only have 1. Maybe you only have 2. Maybe you have 2 supports, and so Jenos can be the off support. I think he fits in more compositions right now due to some of the strength of some of these damage champions. Imani with the Jenos Luminary, Bomb King, Cassie, any of these Luminary. Don't get me started on a couple of these upcoming champions. I really like Jenos in this patch right now. I think he's going to see some play. Khan is in a good spot. I think Khan is in the A+ tier as well. I think it's possible that Khan still gets banned. I don't know. I think it's possible. I just think that he's maybe more along the lines of Inara. He maybe is more along the lines of Inara, but people understand how he is to be played, and that's why I think they're not as scared of him. I think this new Ashe, I think Imani, I think the way Grover's just been unleashed into the wild, I feel like these champions are a little bit scarier to deal with because they could just snowball it so fast. Khan can snowball, but he loses firing line, which is a huge part of his kit. The extra 20% damage boost, the CC immunity. Khan is still going to be able to get that healing on his battle shout, but he's lost the CC immunity, so he's going Storm of Bullets, which means he's bringing a ton of damage, but it doesn't mean that he's still going to be able to just stand on the point and compete against a lot of CC, which the top damage characters and flanks and front lines are always going to bring. So that's why he's still an A+. Great pick for sure. Somebody you want on your team, but he's not going to, because his skill shot a little harder to hit, not as guaranteed. He falls off a little bit in my opinion. Kinessa's good. I'm going to put her in B. She's a good champion. Definitely hits hard, but she fell off a little bit. Her nerfs were strong. Eagle Eye not being able to one-shot you, although a lot of people are happy about that. On the other end, for Kinessa mains, it means that she doesn't really have a strong go-to purpose in the game quite yet. Hitting those long-range shots, getting those headshots don't necessarily turn into a kill. So you have to then figure, am I contributing to just point damage? Am I trying to burst down the tank? Is it worth it to take a 1v1 fight against a flank who might survive against me hitting a perfect shot? Those are all questions that you have to answer. I actually think that according to sniper battles, she may actually be outclassed right now. So we'll see what happens with her. I'm keeping an eye, but she's still in a B tier for me. Not quite a bad pick. Not quite situational. You could still pick her up, but she's not going to perform as consistently as some of these other champions, in my opinion. Oh, here we go. Here we go. The man, the myth, the legend. I need some coffee for this. Bring the claws out. This man went from being a fun champion for me to one of the most frustrating champions I've ever come across in Paladins. And he's got a cool kit. I love him to death. A great personality. An awesome backstory. Taught by Zen. What? That's it. But these claws need to go. Whoever's watching this, who's ever listening to me, God up above, who may be divining all of these decisions ahead of us all on this journey that we call life, hear me now. Koga claws need to go. Because these things are not fun and interactive. These things are win, go home, and nobody even played. I didn't even get to put my cleats on and play the game. You already won. The ref called it in your favor. That is how good Koga claws are right now. But the funny thing is that Koga, although by himself with Koga claws is insane, the rest of his kit is really balanced. The rest of his kit is actually fine. The miniguns are okay. The submachine guns are fine. The ult's cool. You know, the dash is the energy. It's okay. It's balanced at a nice level. You don't have too much, don't have too little. The claw build, though, in my opinion, is S+. You cannot beat this claw build. If he is getting healed, like God forbid he has a Luminary. God forbid he's got a Torvald bubble. Okay? Hitting for 785 to 860 per claw. The range of these things is like the range of Kinessa's like, hey, how did he get my sniper rifle range on his claws? I don't know what happened. All I'm saying is that Koga and just these claws are S+. I think players are going to be picking him and trying to figure out how to make use of him. The only reason he is not SS and completely just busted, this character needs to, I don't know what it is. If you don't pick him, you're going to lose. is because of his health. He has a very good balance on his health. He doesn't have too much. And so if you're not getting healed, if you're isolated and you act like you can just, if you can just like 3v, 5, like 1v5 and just roll up on 5 people, you will die. You will die. That's what I like about this build. But if you get healed, if you just take a one-on-one and then another one-on-one, you can't lose. I don't know, with lifesteal, with criminal, with agility, 100 health for healing, 100 health per second, and you get 20 to 25% lifesteal, and you buy life rip, and you get kill to heal, there's no way to lose in a 1v1. And that is just very, very frustrating. So I think Koga is actually in that spot. I'd love to see him tuned down, but he is the monster in this patch right now that needs to be slain. All right, here's a call that I'm going to make. I think Lex is A tier, A minus. I think he's better than these champions. I actually think Lex is pretty good right now. Now, I'm not saying that because he's the only black guy. Okay, oh my God. You guys made me say it. I didn't have to say it. I'm just saying, I'm not saying it because he's black. It is not a black thing. I'm saying it because I've actually, you know what, Imani coming out made me think about this. I will say this. Why is Lex kind of so like, I feel like Lex has like lack of personality. You guys know what I mean? Like, I feel like Imani's so much character. Even Kinessa has a great backstory. And Lex just feels like he's existing. Like, I feel like it might be the accent, Like, that accent is just, where is he from? Like, what was your backstory? I want to know more about Lex, even if it's Lex and Pip's relationship. I want to know more about that, okay? So anyways, I think he's actually really good. I think people are underestimating heroism right now. I think it's a really good 1v1 tool. I think it can help him to get in and get out. He's got a great ultimate that deals with tanks, deals with high health. I think you can make some work with Lex. He's at an A minus tier for me. Lian, in my opinion, she goes up to the A plus tier. I think Lian is a fantastic champion. Although she loses some anti-heal, she's still so good. She's got her ultimate. She's got obviously cleave on all of her skills, and Eminence is a great pickup as well. It's not that precision isn't good. I think it was not working in the first patch, so we'll see how precision starts to show up. But I know that even if you're running Alacrity, there's a very strong potential for running damage. Lian is always going to be a good damage pick as long as her base kit stays the same, and she still has cards like Manifest Destiny, Swift Jade, Eagle's Emerald, those things in her kit. Inheritance, those are all going to be great cards. She's an A plus for me. Maeve is she's pretty good. She's pretty good. I'm gonna put her in the actual A minus tier with Lex. I think Maeve is actually right here. She was close. She almost went into A tier for me. I think she has some success options here. I think ultimately, if you are a good Maeve player, you will be able to dominate your games. I think she is a strong pickup in this meta right now. Street Justice is actually not bad. I wouldn't be surprised to see her rise because Street Justice does deal with tanks quite well, who can't get bursted up over that 25-35% health threshold to be able to survive that one-hit pounce. Rogue's Gambit is actually, I think, underrated as well. I think it's a very good skill, although in this meta, you may not be getting as many eliminations. They may all come at once because there's some beefy targets. You're going to get healed up a lot, longer fights. Having no reload helps with that, but not having the power potential and not being able to be in the fight with a slightly lackluster ultimate that can get countered with Brazilians pretty easily, Maeve is not yet back. I think she needs a little bit more damage to be able to get back. Although I don't want Maeve with more damage. I think she needs it right now. Oh, the Big Daddy himself. You have to do it to him. I think Makoa is an S. I think Makoa, still with Leviathan, is the best tank in the game. I think Makoa is a first pick or a first ban. If you can get Makoa, you will probably win the game. Playing around a hook is almost impossible. He's just got so much health. He does so much damage. And there's a reason why this guy has been first pick, first ban for the entire history of his Paladins career since he's been released. He's just insane. Thank you, Arc Solaris. Appreciate it. I think Maldamba is in a great spot as well to be healing. I think Maldamba is an A+ level healer. I think he's actually a very good healer. He's a little bit better than Jenos. He can multitask extremely well. He's got great AoE healing. He's got good mending spirits, so hit scan healing from a distance. And his ultimate is one of the better ones in the game to disrupt, although again, can be countered with resilience. And this does promote a little bit of a problem for Maldamba in general. And, because we actually have Jenos here and we have Maldamba here, for some of our other healers, like who maybe are in the middle of that, it's going to be a little bit more of like wiggle room. Like there may be like an A+ S- tier that we're going for. And you could probably, if you wanted, scoot all of these down and be fine as well. Moji. Oh, man, I wish Moji had a little bit more going for her, but unfortunately, Moji is a C tier at best. She could be D, guys. I really could put Moji at D, but I don't want to do it for my Moji fans. Moji's super situational at best. A great character will be able to still make things happen with her. I saw Rock Monkey playing Moji like for a bunch of games on stream. Obviously, he's going to do well. He's Rock Monkey. He knows what he's doing, but she is very situational. It doesn't mean that she can't succeed, but again, the type of situation, the type of composition she's going to succeed in depends on the map. It depends on her composition. It depends on the enemy composition. So it's not the safest pick to guarantee yourself a win, unlike some of these other champions that will be a little bit more successful for you. Although I do think that she's got some potential, and I hope that really some examination of Moji and her kit continues to happen. Word is on the street she's going to be a healer. We'll see. We'll see. Speaking of healers, Pip. I think Pip is a great character. I'm going to put him at an A, actually. I think Pip is actually one of those characters that, although he seems like he's more situational, he actually brings an incredible punch. Moxie helps keep Pip quite alive, and I think people will hopefully start experimenting a little bit more with Mega Potion again. Remember when Virtus Pro, Elven Path, and those guys, when Cuss Cutie and the boys, they were throwing this Mega Potion Pip out, and everyone was just clumping up. And it just did this insane amount of healing. That can happen here, especially if you have a tankier meta. Pip does well in tanky metas because he can instantly chicken tanks. He can actually get bonus damage on tanks to where it's actually burst coming from a healer, which is hard. And he can burst his own tanks up with Mega Potion and resets on Mega Potion. So Pip is a very good character. I think he's just a little more, I would say players are more comfortable with him or not. So you're going to see him either a lot or you won't, and it's going to be team dependent or person dependent. Some people just don't play Pip. You know, I'm a Pip player. Some people just don't play Pip. So Maldamba is going to be more consistent. But if you do play Pip, I think Pip can actually jump up a couple of tiers because he's that good with a coordinated team. Ruckus. Now, this is an interesting one. I think Ruckus is actually this is an interesting character because he can either be in the right composition, Ruckus can be S. I mean, seriously, in the right comp, Ruckus can be S. In LAN, we always see Ruckus turn into being S minus S, but starting out in the split, Ruckus always is around B, A minus. That's always where Ruckus is. I ultimately think because of this meta, Ruckus is going to fill much more of the A plus A level, and I'm going to give him an A plus. The reason I'm going to give him A plus is because if you have a tankier kind of higher end of play, especially in ranked, and you have a character like Ruckus, I'm going to actually put him in A. Tell you why in a second, why I made that change. If you have a character like Ruckus, he's going to be able to contribute damage while also staying tanky. The reason, however, that I think he is going to be in A is because I think some of his natural predators, like Bomb King, like Cassie, like Grover, to be honest, Ruckus getting crippled, meaning he can't advance anywhere, that's rough. And let's not even talk about Imani. I mean, the damage she's going to be able to put out, he's just going to be a freaking totem. She's going to just throw all her frost bombs and pyre balls and all those things. Just Ruckus is just going to be bouncing them all off. Everyone's like, bro, move. He's like, I can't. I'm a big ass mech. And I just hop to the left, he's like, she's still just boom, boom, boom. Give me that. So I think Ruckus is potentially going to come through to a little bit more of his counters. But I think overall, if some of these characters start falling off or they get banned, I think you're going to see Ruckus become a top predator. And that's what happens. Ruckus starts here and he ends up here by the time LAN is happening. Saris. Yo. Yeah. Saris has been getting some good looks for a long time. And right now, Saris, I think, is definitely one of the top 2, top 3 best healers in the game. I think Saris, because she got the AoE healing attached to her base kit, can now run Mortal Reach, can now run Agony, can now run can even run Soul Collector and still be viable. 3 viable talents, incredible peel for herself by just going invisible, movement speed cards to make sure she really gets out of the way, can pop in, pop out, heal from out of line of sight, incredible range, and now she can group heal as well, which was her one weakness, with a great ultimate that can change games, although slightly unreliable, definitely counterable. I think Saris is S minus. This is the first time I put Saris on a high list, guys. I know you guys are always like, Evan, you're always, Randy, you're always leaving Saris out of these top 5s. I'm like, you know what? Here you go. Okay. Sha Lin. Let's talk about the boy, the Desert Wind. He got a new skin coming out. I'm very excited about that. Sha Lin, I think, is in an A tier or an A minus. I'm going to put him in A minus right now because I think that the reliability of Sha Lin is pretty similar to a lot of the other damage champions. He lost one of his better kits, which is really running the resets on the Withdraw, the Desert Shadow, having that extended stealth range. Happened quite a while ago, but I think Sha Lin being able to still maneuver around as a character without that is proven how reliable he is. He's just not OP. He's a great pick. I think he can carry a lot of games. He will carry most of your games if you get good with Sha Lin, but I just don't know if he's quite there yet. Watch out for him. He is somebody who is really just a consistent bow character, so he can fit a lot of lineups. You may see him in high-level play if some of these options start to get banned away. I think Skye is made a comeback here. Skye has definitely made a comeback. This is no troll. I think Skye is A minus. I've seen Skye have much more of a use in these games than Buck, Dredge, Nando, or Kinessa, or Moji or Grohk. I mean, I'm not saying that she's better than Androxus, but I'm saying that she's kind of on par with a lot of these other champions and being able to work. Like, it's not that she can't work. The Healing Vapors card, a lot of people saying Healer Skye. I'm not in on that, but I am in on Debilitate. I am in on no ammo after Debilitate, hitting her poison bolts. I'm in on a lot of the things that she can do. And one of her basic tenets is that she's got an ultimate that destroys shields. It does damage through those shields. And then she has a great talent called Debilitate that just burns through percentage HP. So if you have high health targets like in our tank sustain meta or things like that, she's going to be really, really valuable. So this is another reason why Skye should be on your list. I know I hate to say it. I don't want to encourage people to play Skye more than they are. She's very frustrating to play against, but it's undeniable that she's been doing some work lately, and the changes to some of her kit have been helpful. Strix is actually going to be in an A. Gosh, I don't know. He's either A minus or B. Because I don't want to piss anybody off, I'm just going to throw him here. I'm kidding. I don't care about that. I'm just saying that I don't really feel strongly that he's that much better than Kinessa. I feel like both of them can work. They're snipers. Strix has, a little bit of damage, but his stealth is really the difference between these two. The mobility for Kinessa versus the stealth of Strix. Either one can be countered. In fact, probably a little easier to counter the stealth, but Strix is very good. Having the increased the increased velocity of the actual unauthorized use, fantastic like sidearm flare is really fun. And the fact that it doesn't reveal anymore hopefully makes it not as, toxic for people who are playing against it. Like, oh God, I'm revealed again. That's how I feel playing against Tyra, by the way. Just get a 100's mark for 25 seconds. I just stop. I go to the bathroom. I come back. Wait, I'm still revealed. Okay. All right. Sounds good. But yeah, it's actually really fun now. It's supposed to be used for damage, and I think it is going to take a minute for Strix to climb back up. These two have always been neck and neck, and I don't think snipers are too heavily valued in this meta right now. Talus, I think, is actually still really good. And although I think that there's a lot of champions who don't succeed after getting some of their cards taken away or some of their crucial cards, I think Talus is still a very strong pick. I have seen Talus do exactly what he's been doing, and one of the best things about this is because the cards that he had to take it out of, Antediluvian, can now be put into some of the other cards that make Talus good in general. Lifesteal, you have more movement speed, you have a cooldown on your Rune of Travel. What it means is that you're not going to be as early game effective, but his burst damage, his potential, and his ultimate, which is very good at getting to backline targets who are being pesky, is still good. He's less situational because I think his damage is just so nuts that as a hit scan character, he's going to be able to do work on some of these front lines who don't give him the time of day. But in high level range with great healers, he is going to be less prioritized than some of your other champions. Although I think overall he brings enough damage to warrant an A rating for me. Terminus, in my opinion, is actually an A+ to an S- frontline. He is insanely hard to get around. Now, obviously, Terminus, has got a couple of issues. Let's just say what it is. It's bugs. Terminus has had a lot of bugs that have kept him from being played in the PPL. I hope that doesn't change. I mean, I hope... Was that... I swear to God, that was me accidentally slipping up. That was me slipping up right there. I hope it doesn't change. You can tell I don't like Terminus. I like Terminus. He's great. He's great. I love playing against him. But no, the shield, everyone thought, oh my god, he's going to get wrecked. How could you do that to his shield? A 3-second cooldown. It hasn't made a damn difference. That shield still works. He's still that good. Terminus is just hard to kill. There's no way to slide. Terminus is just hard to kill with a coordinated team and a healer. It's just so hard. And if you add another frontline and Terminus, what he does is he makes a bad problem worse. Like a lot of other characters up here, Grover, Ashe, Imani, Inara, Khan. Imagine fighting one person and then this champion, any of the ones I just mentioned, Koga, Makoa, Ashe, Inara, Grover, Imani, right? Come over and start fighting you too. It's just, like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Like that, you're just going to lose. You're not going to win that fight. There's no way to beat both of them. And that is the level of, I think, just value that these characters bring. So Terminus, overall, a very strong shield still. And I think he's in an A+ situation. If he doesn't have any bugs, if those are fixed and he is able to be played, I expect Terminus to be right on par with Inara and maybe even supersede her and potentially get a couple of bans. Yeah. Watch out for Tolki's Terminus. He wasn't able to play it, but this man knows what he's doing. Torvald is okay. He's a front line that's going to be in the B category. Torvald is not bad. He's situational, can be used more frequently than Moji and Grohk to do the job. He makes a bad problem worse, but not in the same way that a Terminus or an Inara or a Cassie does. He works really well with some of these other champions up top, but he's not able to fit into every lineup, and really he's map and lineup specific. What I do love about Torvald, though, is he's got a couple of things that could make him kind of snowball a little bit more. One of the cards I was using that actually I think gave Torvald some anti-heal got turned into, there was an anti-heal and there was like a crowd control reduction card. And one of them got turned into elimination reduction, up to 40%. And that's actually really good for a guy who's just trying to bubble bot all day. So if Torvald can actually maybe see some play, we might see some builds that circle around, getting cooldowns, maxing those cooldowns out, getting quick eliminations, more bubbles, more cooldowns, whether it's Thanks Grandpa or Field Study. This is going to be a very dangerous thing. Tyra's going in the A- category for me. I think she's actually got some skills. She's not bad. She can handle herself. She's definitely a good character. The fact that she got lifesteal into her kit in 2.02 makes it so that she now can contest with some of the characters that she wasn't able to. But the thing that's always held her back is her movement, is her ability to get away from trouble. Now she just knows that she has to fight into it. Although there are a couple of builds that I've played, I've showed you guys on the channel, where she can get some damage reduction. If she gets some healing while she's getting that, she's very hard to deal with. Watch out for, Mercy Kill. Watch out for Mercy Kill with grenade launcher talent. And we'll keep an eye on her, but right now she doesn't really excel beyond a traditional damage dealer, in my opinion. Viktor, however, I think is in a potentially different situation. I think Viktor is still going to serve as a very strong damage pick. He's going to be in the A category for me. They've really made Viktor a strong pick. For those who are just getting into Paladins, maybe you want to know all about these champions. So you're like, hey, let me watch this tier list. Let me get an idea. Viktor's a great starting point. They really have made Viktor to be a great, just selecting, just aim and get damage character. He throws grenades. He has a barrage. It's all effective, and his mobility is still tough to keep up with if you are a low mobility champion. This is where he gets a little bit better than Vivian, and Vivian becomes a little more situational because her mobility is lackluster, although her damage is incredible. There are a lot of good champions here in this damage category, as you can see, and the Bs are going to be a little bit less. The curve, as you can see, is pretty nice, actually. Pretty nice curve, naturally. I think Willow, unfortunately, here coming through, and I didn't mention much about Vivian, but Vivian is basically just Viktor, I would say, with a little bit less mobility and a little bit more vision. I think that she can get pocketed and do well, very much like Tyra, but by herself struggles sometimes without being protected to be as effective as some of these other champions who can kind of do it by themselves, be okay, don't have to be babysat to work. I think Willow right now is the one character I'm not as confident in saying where she lies. Willow could be a B tier. She could even be an A+ tier. I haven't really played a lot of Willow over this last break and this time that I've been gone. But what I've seen, I'm going to be safe, and I'm going to just say that Willow is in probably around A tier. A-, B. I think she's going to fit right around some of these damage dealers. I think she could still work her way up. I think she's better than Buck and Dredge and Kinessa and Strix and Torvald and Fernando right now in terms of filling her role and being okay. But I think that she's got some decently natural predators. I think Nightshade is always good, but it's the burst loss plus the fact that it's tankier targets she's going to be fighting makes it a little bit troublesome. Blast Flower I think is going to be the way to go now because of Nightshade's burst, but we'll see. Maybe people will still play Nightshade, get rid of the damage dealer, and then be able to just spam point with seedlings and spam point with anti-heal, spam point with anti-heal could be enough to warrant Willow's rise in these rankings. Now we've got two more. Yang. I think Yang is very, very strong. Almost tips the scales to me as far as best healer in terms of S- and A+. Because I'm North American, I'd probably put her A+. But I think in EU, Ying is usually prioritized more heavily than some of the other champions in terms of the healing role. I know Saris is usually given that record as well. So for the sake of just clarity, I think Ying, I think Saris, I think Grover are all incredibly strong healers. My only hesitancy is putting this here is that my feeling is that Grover and Saris are better priorities right now than Ying. And so in honor of that, just so you guys know, I know there's going to be some people who want S-. I'm going to put Ying on the same level as Maldamba, which is a compliment to both of them. They're both great healers, and I think they're going to be highly prioritized. But I think these are the healers that people are going to say these are just hard to deal with. Going into it as well, I think we're going to see Zhin. Zhin can play some ball. Now that Zhin has gotten a couple of changes to his hits not clipping on the side, there's a cool new world build that I've been trying that I'm trying to put a video out for you guys to see, where you can basically use your couple of shots. Man, words? You can swing your sword and shoot the enemy and then whirl into them. Shoot again. Counter, hit your counter, whirl away because your counter resets your whirl completely, and then either keep fighting or billow if need be. But it gives you 2 points of damage on your whirl, and it also allows you more distance to be created and makes it very hard for them to track you. It's super fun. I will try to show you guys what that looks like soon. But Zhin, for me, because of that, is in an A tier. He is a very good damage champion, and I think he can be seeing a lot of play. You have Guillotine and you have Yomi, heavy hitting, great for point stacking and getting rid of some people who are just standing in a line. I think Zhin is going to start to make a rise. Very good kind of maybe 4th, 5th pick in terms of filling out a damage or a flank role for this meta. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this 2.02, 2.03 style of Paladins tier list from me. This is very different than what I usually do, but I feel like I can do this every time we have a new patch, and you don't have to wait for a top 5 that's a little bit more, going to last for a couple of years for players who just want to get an idea of the kits and the basis of what these champions do and why they're even good in the first place. This will help you to understand more of the minutia of why they've changed, and hopefully give you some insight into my thoughts as a commentator for this league professionally, and as a player with over 1,600 hours in the game, being able to give you my experience as to why these champions fit within these roles. If you have any comments, and I know you do, let me know in the comment section below. And if you like this video and you truly liked it, please leave a like. If you didn't like it, leave a dislike and let me know why. And the best thing you guys can do, honestly, is to subscribe and just stay tuned for some of the other content I've got coming out. Everybody who, jumps on a notification and hits the bell and watches my next videos means a lot to me in the channel because I do want to cover a lot of things. I want to cover a lot of Paladins, a lot of Smite, but I want to cover other things. And I think it's a win-win because you guys get to know more about what I like in terms of gaming, what's out there in the gaming world, expand your horizons, being a better and more understanding, educational gamer to talk about more topics with your buddies, and then also knowing all the good stuff about the games you're playing a lot right now. Thanks so much for watching, guys. As always, never give up, never stop gaming. I'll see you all next time.